Ladies and gentlemen, good day, I would say, in Australia, which is my second home country. I'm going to proceed from my acceptance speech last night, where I said there is no fast track elevator to safety. You will have to take the cumbersome stairs step by step to come up, increase your safety. And I will show you some of the steps that we have taken in Carnival Corporation. Which one are you? Here?
Together with the keys, yes?
Okay.
The mouse.
Yeah. So in 2008, we started from this position. We can say that this is the ground floor with a traditional bridge organization. A master barking out his orders, taking all the decisions by himself, ignoring most of the time all the nice technology on the bridge, and ignoring most of the time also the bridge team behind of him. So what we discovered was that all resources were not utilized. And we also realized that sometimes the bridge team might have thoughts like this. Oh, I wouldn't have done it that way, but he is the captain and he must know something I don't know. So I better not say anything because I don't want to make a fool of myself. And even today, most of the incidents and accidents we have in the maritime world stem from this lack of intervention. And this kind of bridge organization with the master in front of the bridge team tend to make officers passive bystanders. So we had to make something about this organization. And our suggestion at that time was to move into an organizationally based safety management system. We call it the role-based bridge organization, where we promote coordinated teamwork. And this is from one of our new buildings, the Koningsdam. In this organization, it's totally flexible, and the captain appoints who's doing what. In this case, the navigator is the watch officer. He's driving the ship. And he's doing that according to a very detailed plan. I will come back to what the plan looks like later on. And he communicates with the co-navigator any changes. And the role of the co-navigator is to support and cross-check that the navigator is actually following the plan, or if there's any threats to the navigation of the ship. So the communication between the navigator and co-navigator is absolutely essential. And we have developed communication techniques I will come back to. But mainly when things are going right, the navigator is thinking aloud. He tells what his intention is, the reason for it, and what the outcome should be of his intentions. And those two guys, they are the ones that are always on the bridge. When risk increases, we add a third person, the operations director. And that must be a more senior person. It is either the staff captain or the captain. And in this case, it's the captain. And the role of the operations director is to monitor, overview, and if needed, supervise or coach the two guys in front of him. So he doesn't come up and intervene in the operation unless it's really necessary. There is also a fourth person in port approaches or when they leave a port, and that's the administrator, normally the junior officer, who is there to take away distractions from the bridge team. He answers phone calls, he looks after alarms, it could be fire alarms or whatever, in order to leave the bridge team undisturbed and can focus on driving the ship. Of course, we have a pilot on board when we enter or leave a port, And there is a specific spot for the pilot, a monitoring station, and the pilot can either have direct control of the navigation, which is common in certain areas. He can also have indirect control. It means that the navigator continues to con the ship and the pilot will take a more advisory role, just similar to the operations director. We also changed the bridge layout. This bridge layout is focused on human-centered design in order to maximize the teamwork. Now I'll move to this was step 1 and 2, bridge design and bridge organization. Step 3 was to change the voyage planning and combining it with bridge resource management. We don't plan just in single numbers, we plan in intervals. And this is just like any other critical industry, high-risk industry. If you look at the nuclear plant, they have a safe working temperatures in a range, and then they have some abnormal temperatures that they can accept, but they don't want to go out in the no-go areas. Same thing here. We have a track corridor, which is our planned corridor. We can be anywhere in the corridor, but we don't need to be on the track. The same thing on the speed. It's here 10 to 12 knots. And then between the track corridor and the no-go area, we have a safety margin. And this is very critical because the safety margin indicates when an officer should speak up. Same thing with the speed. If the speed is above or below the interval which has been planned, it is the duty of the co-navigator to speak up. And we do that in a special communication technique, which I'll come back to. However, those margins are absolutely critical for safety because they are triggers for intervention. And they should, of course, be mentioned in a briefing before arrival or departure. Now I come to the escalating outcome-based intervention technique that we use. If the ship, like in this slide, is starting to go outside the corridor, the co-navigator should start by probing the navigator, and he would say, what is your intention with regards to the corridor? A non-threatening probing. If that's not enough, if nothing happens, the navigator doesn't react to that, we go up to alerting. We would say, we are now 30 meters outside the corridor. And hopefully there is something clicking into the navigator's head and he will do something about it. If not, we go up to the third step where we challenge, but we challenge with an outcome-based intervention. I recommend to alter course to port to bring her back into the corridor. We don't tell what the navigator should do. We just tell what we would see as an outcome, because if we tell what the navigator should do, we are actually taking over control of the vessel, and we don't want to do that. We actually want to make the navigator act in a way that he brings back the vessel to the desired planned corridor. Finally, if this doesn't help, there is the emergency, where you can say, if you don't alter course now, we risk going aground. Or if you are the captain or a higher rank, you could say, I take control. I take over from here. But this is the escalating outcome-based intervention, which is non-threatening, and no officer should have ever any doubt in using this. Finally, in order to implement this, we have an onboard follow-up and coaching by 10 fleet captains, and also in the engineering side, 10 fleet chief engineers. They make sure that the training we have provided is actually happening on board. And those 10 fleet captains, they go around to all vessels every year to make sure that what we have trained is in place. So this is a way to consolidate that the learning is there. So thank you very much. I hope I've triggered some questions.
Thank you.